Welcome, members of the light. I truly believe that as humanity evolves and spiritually ascends over the next 2 years, 2025 to 26, we are going to see exponentially increased awareness within each individual and socially as a society as well. I believe that we are going to establish a much more tangible contact with extraterrestrial life. We are going to begin the communication with what is known as the Seven Sisters, which are the 7 other cosmic cousins, as I call them, or alien species that we are going to connect with, and that relationship will be re-established in the next 2 to 3 years. Re-established because we've known them before. They're part of our history, our terrestrial history, as well as our galactic history. And depending on the choices made now, moving forward as a collective, that will determine how quick or how soon we get to see this contact. We get to see this re-establishment of communication between Earth and the other extraterrestrial connections that we do have. There are so many increasing documented communications, visitations. I don't want to say the word abduction because that has stopped, although abduction is against your will. I feel like there's a lot more souls allowing and volunteering to explore other dimensions. I feel the mainstream collective is starting to realize and wake up to the fact that many of these cosmic cousin connections are not about a physical place that we get in a physical, tangible vehicle and we travel off to, say, Mars and whatever. This is more about interdimensionality, so multi-dimensional, faceted cosmic cousins. They're from different dimensions, so it's not like such a physical 3D experience. And as long as humans are attached to that 3D tangible evidence of things, I'll believe it when I see it. That slows down this contact because our cosmic cousins do not want to blow our minds, do not want to freak us out and cause a panic across social structures. That's why they've waited as long as they have. I remember I was going through a very, very isolated time in my life. It was my late 20s. Saturn return had kicked in. The beautiful life that I was living out in the West, I could feel the juice for that was drying up. And my brother, who was living in Australia, in Melbourne, had been begging me, him and his girlfriend had been begging me for about 2 years to go and visit them. So it just felt like the right time to do that because my very full life, like college had ended, relationship I was in had ended. I was living in a house on my own. I was getting kind of fed up with that. So it was the lead up to me deciding to pack my bags and go to Australia. And there was snow. And my dad was really unwell at the time. And my mother was stepping in more and more as his full-time carer. And I was helping out when I was up in Dublin, when I travel up from weekends and things like that. And I think they were gone off somewhere. And I'd been out on a big long walk in the snow, just totally surrendered to the peace. You know that lovely peacefulness when you're walking in the snow and you can hear that squish, that kind of squeezed snow sound as you make your way through the snow. And I came back home to my parents' house and all the lights were off and it was a deathly silence. There was no one in the house. And I remember I went upstairs and my mum has this really, really old gold oval mirror. And as I was turning, something caught my eye in the mirror. Now it was dark, right? There was no, it was, I think it was December. It was dark, cold, all the lights were out, nobody in the house. And I turned to look in the mirror and something pulled me into the mirror. And it was like I was magnetized into the reflection in the mirror. And I heard a voice say, look into your soul, like look into your eyes. Eyes are the mirror of the soul. So I'm looking in the mirror, and as I'm looking into my eyes, everything starts to go black. Everything starts to disappear. And my face starts to change into other women's faces. It was so trippy. Now, I don't smoke marijuana, I don't do drugs, I don't eat sugar. There was nothing in my system, okay, that would cause a trip, but it was the closest thing I imagined to that kind of trippy experience. My face started to shapeshift, everything, hair, colour, skin colour, and I went through all the races, every race known to humanity, female, change, and I was like, oh my God, this is amazing, this is so cool, this is so interesting, and it just kept changing and kept going. And then it started to shapeshift into other unrecognizable species. So it was like the eyes, weird, like I suppose what we would call extraterrestrial or alien looking facial features. And this went on for what felt like 15 minutes. I don't actually know how long I was having this experience, but it wasn't imagined, it was a very real experience. The mirror just served as a conduit to engage with me, to have this experience. And as it finished shapeshifting my face, I heard Spirit again say, you have been every woman. I still don't quite know what that means. I mean, I have my own personal interpretation, but it was like, you have been every woman. You have walked every life. And as it was doing that, that's the feeling, that's the energetic message I was getting with this, that indeed that has helped me to relate and to be empathic and to understand, apart from being able to psychically tune into whatever someone else is experiencing as they experience it, the fact that those of us who are old souls, and truly there's no old soul, because a soul is timeless and ageless, but old soul as far as the term meaning, this is not your first time here, or this is not your first time extracting yourself from God and experiencing limitation. Remember, we are unlimited beings, but we have willingly placed ourselves in the most limited of places. And that can be such a wild ride on our infinite intelligence and consciousness. So I just wanted to share that very personal experience with my members of the light. Those of you who are old and new, thank you for being here. And to remember that you walked many lives, not just here on earth. And that was the amazing thing about this. It wasn't just human face thing. Like, as I said, every race, every creed, it went into all, and it felt like 15, 20 minutes of this. Like, there was a lot of representation and diversity in what I was shown. And it was beautiful. It was such a beautiful, beautiful experience. But it was also absolutely mind-blowing because it was so visceral. It was so tangible. When everything went dark, it took a lot to stay in the moment and not to panic and go, what the hell is happening? Am I passing out? For a moment, it felt like I was blacking out, because everything just went black, and then my face started to change into all these different versions of humanity as especially seemed to be all female for some reason. Even though I remember I've had other lifetimes as male, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. Experience is experience, and there's so much across the board that we experience as humans and as fractals of the source energy. So I just wanted to share that. I don't know why I've waited this time. I've thought about sharing that so many times over the past 10 years here on YouTube, and something always stopped me. I feel like we are currently getting off our chest things that we feel like, well, why am I holding on to this? Why am I waiting for the perfect time or the perfect situation to share this? It's almost like the end of days in some ways for some of us. It's like, if I don't say this now, when am I going to get to say it? Or it's now or never. So I wouldn't be surprised if you're experiencing that, members. You're actually feeling there's something about a completion inside you that is wrapping things up, and a feeling of, you know what, I'm just going to say it. That's kind of the energy. When was the last time I couldn't stop laughing or smiling? Go back to a moment when you laughed so hard you almost peed your pants, or did. Feel the laughter grow in your body, your cheeks hurting and eyes watering. Maybe there was even a snort or two. Laughter is healing. It reminds us to take life less seriously and find the joy in the littlest things. Note to self, laugh more often. Today's soul action, make somebody laugh today. On that note, the light in me, members of the light, you are the light. I'm reflecting that light to you. Take care.